Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Garret. This is Les Oman here on Home Songs for Life. Thanks very much for joining me. Another 4 songs as usual. So I'm going to start off with a song that I've kind of been working on for the last couple of years. It might sound very profound, but I'll warn you now that it actually means nothing. It's a couple of years back we were clearing out my mum's house, and just for a little while our bedroom ended up looking a bit like a central lending library. So I made it my mission, rather than tidy it all away, I made it my mission to try and find, without fear or favour, just a bunch of song titles that would fit together and scan a wee bit like a lyric. So this song, which is called No Shame and Fear, has got 21 book titles hidden in its depths, I suppose you could say. So as I say, sometimes I'm kind of listening to myself singing it and think, hey, that's quite profound, or that's quite interesting, but it's just the luck of the draw. A couple of lines kind of work together and some of the others are a bit, But anyway, this is No Shame and Fear. No shame and fear, I'll keep you safe. All the light we never see, homesick for another world. All gates open, big mouth laughing clowns, the new rulers of the world. None dare oppose. Hillbilly elegy, up in the old hotel, to throw away unopened, a German requiem. All gates open, big mouth laughing clowns, the new rulers of the world. None dare oppose. Handful of robes, be glad the harps cry, fitting pieces to the jigsaw. The Grail guitar odyssey, all gates open, big mouth laughing clowns, the new rulers of the world. None dare oppose. The secret island, haunted landscapes, darkness, global discontents, all gates open, big mouth laughing clouds, the new rulers of the world, none dare oppose. No shame in fear. That was No Shame and Fear. Apologies there, my right hand cramped up a wee bit, put me off my stride, but these things happen. So I'm going to do a cover now. Given that it's that he's just celebrated his 80th birthday, I thought it would be quite in keeping to do a wee nod to Bob. So peak Dylan for me was round about 74 to 76 when I was still at school, so that would be Blood in the Track, Sierra, Basement Tapes when it was finally released, and Desire. So this is a song from the Desire album. It was always good fun to learn to play and sort of jam along with people, so it's never kind of left me. It's always handy to pull out in an emergency. And it's a song, I don't have a gypsy violinist here, but you know, there you go. You can't have everything. You can't find everything in Campbelltown on a Monday night. But it's quite a mysterious song called One More Cup of Coffee, and usually the intrigue is about the lady in person and her strange family. But I was wondering about the guy that's actually singing the song, because it's of course not really Dylan. It's some other mysterious person. So I kind of rummaged about a bit and come up with my own idea towards the end of it. So this is One More Cup of Coffee, and please join in if you know the chorus. And hi Steve, I've opened up the comments, so remember to do it. So if anyone else is there, please let me know. Here we go, One More Cup of Coffee. Your breath is sweet, your eyes are like two jewels in the sky. Your back is straight and your hair is smooth on the pillow where you lie. But I don't see affection or gratitude of love. Your loyalty is not to me, but to the stars above. One more cup of coffee for the road. One more cup of coffee before I go to the valley below. Your daddy, he's an outlaw and a wanderer to trade. He teaches you to pick and choose and how to throw a blade. He oversees his kingdom, so no stranger does intrude. And his voice it trembles as he calls out for another plate of food. One more cup of coffee for the road. One more cup of coffee before I go to the valley below. Your sister sees the future like your mama and yourself. You never learn to read or write, there's no books on your shelf. Your pleasure knows no limits, and your voice is like a meadowlark, and your heart is like an ocean, mysterious and dark. One more cup of coffee for the road. One more cup of coffee before I go to the tent down the road. Mad Paddy's going back on the road. A wire string fiddle is his only load. He's kicking up turf everywhere he goes, and he's on his own. From the houses all the people would stare at his horse lips and his emerald green hair. You know he keeps on moving, he just doesn't care, and he's on his own. Mad Pat's on the road. Cup of coffee for the road. One more cup of coffee before I go. Mad Pat's on the road. So that was One More Cup of Coffee with a wee bit of an injection of Mad Pat by Horslips, which is loosely based around the life story of O'Carolan, the blind Irish harpist. So that song came out roughly, well, maybe a couple of years before One More Cup of Coffee, but to me he fitted the role there as the narrator with his own little side story. So that's that. So next one is this is one that was kind of requested. If you know Scotland at all and you've been here and out to the Western Isles, you might be familiar with a beautiful tune called The Dark Island. And the Dark Island is Benbecula, but every time I've been out there, Benbecula's actually been very pleasant, very nothing dark about it really. But there is another island which you may not know about, an island called Gruniard, which is just off the coast of Wester-Ross in the West Highlands. And it's less than a kilometre from the mainland shore, but for some reason in 1942 the UK government thought it was a good idea to explore what would happen if you polluted the island with anthrax, and basically created a nasty, dirty bomb. So they did this in 1942, and the way they worked out if it had been successful or not was they drove a flock of sheep on there, and I think within 3 days the poor old sheep were dead. Now, obviously, things moved on, but Gruniard stayed fairly polluted for the next, well, it was almost 50 years, until an organisation called Dark Harvest started to distribute little bags of soil, claiming it was from Greenyard Island, and they were leaving them in key places like outside the Tory party conference and in public places. And eventually the government did act, and it took them nearly another 10 years, and they finally declared Greenyard safe. But you know, I'm not going to go camping or glamping there, that's for sure. But I thought that in my naivety that perhaps that would be a better dark island than Benbecula, which is perfectly lovely. So this is for Kenny and Fiona and Cashlin and Skye. So this is my take on the other dark island, maybe the darker island we'll call it. Away to the west, there's a place of foul pest, where not much is living, and the air is impure, where the spores and the seeds of death daily breed, and the sun never shines on the dark island. Oh, island of anthrax, where everything sleeps, except for a weird strain of green mutant sheep. And the tourists all have to wear asbestos clothes. You'll get more than a tan on the dark island. Oh, germ of the Hebrides, out on the sea, polluted forever to keep Britain free. And the people of Westeros swagger with pride as they lovingly gaze on their dark island. Oh, island of anthrax, where everything sleeps, except for a weird strain of green mutant sheep. And the tourists all have to wear asbestos clothes. You'll get more than a tan on the dark island. But it's farewell to Greenyard, let's bid it adieu, 'cause the big boys in Whitehall, they found something new. With Polaris, then Trident, who needs germ warfare? So they just let the sun set on the dark island. Oh, island of anthrax, where everything sleeps, except for a weird strain of green mutant sheep. And the tourists all have to wear asbestos clothes. You'll get more than a tan on the dark island. Oh, island of anthrax, where everything sleeps, except for a weird strain of green mutant sheep. And the tourists all have to wear asbestos clothes. You'll get more than a tan on the dark island. You'll get more than a tan on the dark island. So that was the story of Greenyard there, probably the darker island, certainly darker than Benbecula. Yeah, that was back from the days when one of the first steps in writing a song was to take another song and write a kind of parody or a pastiche or something on it, and somehow that one survived for the moment. So I'm rapidly coming to a close here. Evening, Colin. Yeah, I got the nightmare shift, but I'm not mentioning the other thing that you're saying in your post. I promised not to mention it tonight, so I'm saying nothing about something that might have happened earlier on today. So this is my last song coming up. Before I go, I'd like to mention that a good pal of mine, Gordon Hanning's doing this slot tomorrow night. So it's the first time for Gordon, and well worth you tuning in for that one. And 8 o'clock, usual places. And also I'd just like to thank Chris, who's linked me up to StreamYard tonight, and he's sitting there. He's not thinking about that other thing either. He's just moved on. And so this is my last song of the evening. I've been lucky to go to Finnmark province, which is away in the kind of northeastern Norway, very close to the Finnish and the Russian border, and it's a beautiful wilderness. And the first thing that I saw when I got out into the country proper was this amazing blue ice, and it was hanging down from the kind of cliff face along the road. I've never seen anything like it, and I think it basically was algae that had been frozen when the stream froze up during the winter. But I was determined I was going to put that in a song somewhere, and I decided that this would be it. I've tried to kind of I had lots of different kind of thoughts about Finnmark and excuse me, and its scenery and its tranquility, etc. But I've been slowly and surely paring it all back to a fairly minimalist kind of, it doesn't need a lot of words, it just needs a few as prompts. So this is a first go for this one. It's called Fjord. Blue ice by the roadside, eagle hovers in the air, slow thaw along the shoreline, only emptiness out there, only emptiness out there. Pure air, clear sky, the wilderness awakens very slow. A small speck on the mountainside, the wolf runs swiftly through the snow. Wolf runs swiftly through the snow. Pale moon, grey sky, the fjord is silent in the dawn. White on white into infinity, the snowscape stretches on and on. The snowscape stretches on and on and on and pale moon, grey sky, the fjord is silent in the dawn. White on white into infinity, snowscape stretches on and on and on and on. Snowscape stretches on and on. So that was Fjord there, so that's the first time out for that one. Probably next time I do it I'll cut even more words out of it, but we'll see how it goes. Thanks very much for listening, and thanks to Steve and Colin for the comments. And don't forget, tomorrow night it's my good friend Gordon Hanning who's appearing for the first time, and come out and give him a wee shout. So this is Les Oman. See you probably next month or whenever David tells me that it's my turn again, when he's not hanging out sleeping on top of mountains. And again, thanks to Chris for his vigilance at the other end of the stream thing. And this is me saying good night. Good night.